If you are a teacher, parent, administrator, student, and/or anyone who loves reconnecting children with nature, and you want to figure out how to cultivate learning gardens and nature-based curriculum, then this is the podcast, the Outdoor Classrooms podcast. My name is Victoria Hackett. I am the founder of Outdoor-Classrooms.com and the Secret Gardens Nature Classes. I love witnessing the magic that happens when children are playfully learning outdoors. Observing the return of wonder and curiosity when children are interacting with nature is pure magic. This is the podcast that is going to help you capture children's interest and give you not only inspiration, but some real life strategies that are going to help you figure out how to use the outdoor space, your outdoor space, as a teaching tool, so you can enlighten the playful learning experience for young children. Welcome to our Outdoor Classrooms community. Hey there, it's Victoria. We are going to dive into this episode in 1 second because it's so good. But before we do, I just want to ask you, did you know that I have an Outdoor Classrooms membership? Because it's the one thing that I am so excited about right now. It's called The Circle. This is a group of such amazing women and a few men, and I created it because it's what educators need. We need to surround ourselves with people who help us stay true to our identity as educators, who support the outdoor classroom movement, and who elevate our children's spirits, because we are the 5 people we spend the most time with. To solve our outdoor classrooms problems, we need to be with the people we can completely be ourselves with. Not only do we need to raise ourselves as educators, but we also don't need to be flawless parents and educators or take ourselves too seriously. That is the Circle membership. This is the space where you will feel so loved and so seen, if that is what you are looking for in your life and in your teaching practice. Just by being in this group, you will have the impression that you are developing into the educator and the person that you truly are. Every single week, there is something to tap into. Live Zoom sessions with me that are seasonal masterclasses, sessions with me that are Q&A and round tables. You are also going to have access to the Outdoor Classroom Tour and Talks from all over the world. We also have a book club in our community. Also, it's month to month, so you are going to want to check it out. So it's just a monthly commitment. I think you'll soon realize that this is something you've been looking for a long time. So if you want to check it out, go to www.outdoor-classrooms.com/circle-membership and you can join us. Hello and welcome to the Legacy in Bloom Family Tales Gardening episode. I'm your host, Victoria, and today we embark on a journey to explore how our family's passion for gardening has blossomed over generations through intimate interviews with my 91-year-old mother, a dedicated gardener to this day, and my brother, a professional landscaper. Will unravel how our family's roots have influenced our love for nurturing plants and how this tradition continues with our children planting their own gardens. Get ready to be inspired by stories that prove the power of family traditions in shaping our passions. Hey everybody, we are here with 2 very, very special guests. They are my mother here, Judith Hackett, and my brother here, Christopher Hackett, and they are actually both incredibly avid gardeners. So I wanted to have them on the podcast today to kind of share their story and how gardening has impacted their lives. So I'm going to start with my mother, who is an avid gardener and would love to know where gardening has started for you.
Well, I got married and had 2 children, and then we got thrown out of where we were renting, and we bought this old farmhouse, and it had a huge garden. But I was just taking care of 5 children at that point. And I got into areas that I could work on. And I also joined the Bethesda Chevy Chase Garden Club, which is a great group of gardeners that meet once a month. And we have a lecturer, and we also go look at their gardens, which is instrumental in sort of feeling what I should be doing.
It's beautiful, beautiful. So Christopher is my older brother, and he is an incredible landscaper. And I would love to learn more because I didn't know this about, as he was telling his story, that where his landscaping and love for the gardens, where they began. I did not know this story. So I'd love for you to share a little bit about Mr. Downey.
Well, Mr. Downey, who took care of Ma's garden until I was about maybe 10 years old or so. And so I would go visit Ma every summer. And so I started working for him. And then at school, they had a little greenhouse. I worked there, grew plants, and I worked at nurseries like Sheridan Gardens and Johnston Landscaping, and my paper route manager, Alan Gouge, said, "You want to go 50-50 in a lawn business?" At the time I was working for Johnston Landscaping, so I quit them, and the rest was history.
I've always known you to be this incredible landscaper. So it's so interesting coming from this old farmhouse that we grew up in and how the gardens that have grown over the years. So can you tell us a little bit more about, now you've joined a garden club and you've got these 5 children, and I always remember you saying, just pick one area at a time.
Well, that's right. The garden club was, for me, completely educational. And because they would come, we'd have a sale once a year at the Farmwoods Market in downtown Bethesda, which was great. And they would come to my garden and divide and name all the plants and put them in pots. And we'd keep them over the winter. And then they would take them to the sale, I think it's in May, which was huge for me because, first of all, the perennials need to be divided. And I don't know the names of anything. So it was just a great opportunity to be with fine gardeners who knew what they were doing, and hopefully I could improve my space.
Oh, you're beautiful. And Chris, your story really speaks to the essence of young children. Like you were 10 and going to our grandmother, we called her Ma, going to her house over the summer. And so that really impacted your career in becoming someone that really is connected. So tell us a little bit more about that, about what you're doing now.
I worked at Ma's house then for a while. Then I graduated from high school. Then I started from Ma's house to Mark Hackett's farm and at Bobby's farm, Mark Donald's farm.
In Vermont.
In Vermont. And
so did that, just being out in nature and the fresh air, I mean, I always look at you and see how you're just a radiance of health. You just are, you're tan, you're outside, you're doing, it's hard work.
Yeah, because one day my dad came up to me and I was outside playing football. So he would go on a boat trip. I said, no, I like football. And we ended up working in the garden, planting trees and shrubs, and that also was history. So
there you are.
I mean, my football career was kind of short. I don't think I played a game.
Yeah. So, Mom, you have, what does gardening today mean to you? Can I reveal your age?
I guess so.
So my mother is 91 and is still gardening. And can you just tell us a little bit about the impact of your garden today, even?
What I have, which is magical, I have a little 4-wheel trolley, which I sit on, and under the seat, I can put all the tools. And so all I have to do is take my trolley and start one end of a flower bed or whatever I am doing. And I have a pot that I can pull out the weeds and transfer things. But I don't have to bend down. I can sit and do the whole thing, which is wonderful. So it lets me be outside. It lets me get exercise and fresh air and hopefully fix the garden.
Yeah, it's brilliant. And you actually one summer Was it over the summer? You completely resurfaced a whole patio.
Well, I did.
At 90?
We have a very old farmhouse, and when we bought the house, there was a huge tree on the patio, which eventually died. But under the tree were all these bricks, which were unusual and antique. And so I took all the bricks and put them in another area. That worked very well. They're still there, and I'm still fixing it every now and again.
But it's nice to have that garden there to pull you outside.
Exactly. And so, the beds always need to be divided and fixed, but
yeah,
it's a pleasure.
Yeah. And you, Chris, how has gardening and landscaping and being outdoors and you're, all really starting from when you were 10, how does that impact your life today, do you feel?
Well, now I'm working for the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission, and so that's where I am now. But it's pretty much the same kind of work, but working at a different place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you like it?
Yeah.
It's hard. But you're outside.
Outside.
You are.
Yeah.
It's among plants, and you work in parks. You work in different. You go into different parks, right?
Yeah. We're outside all year round, even in the winter, and so.
And how do you feel those parks are the importance of providing those parks for children, and that they're clean and maintained and their well-being of being outside? Do you think that kids today are spending enough time outside?
Yeah, I mean, there's kids outside. We have some big parks. We got to take care of one park, Como Manor. We take care of that. So keep the kids, because they have events going on. If events going on, we have to go there a couple of days before and get everything mowed and cleaned up.
Yeah, it's important.
So
it's important work.
So it's pretty much the same kind of work I've been doing.
Yeah, well, you're an expert. So it's so interesting to me because it's how it all evolved when you were a young person, and how yours has evolved over time as well, having 5 children, but then sort of finding time. But now it's sort of, you've created an oasis in your garden.
It's pretty nice, actually. I don't know the names of anything, but I enjoy it, and it's always a pleasure to have people come who know what they're doing.
Yeah, it's nice to be a part of a community. That is.
The Garden Club is a great, great community,
and they have they have different things. It's not just gardening. They have sort of speakers that come in, and
they have speakers that come in exactly once a month. Not over the summer, but once a month which is always fascinating, whatever topic weeds or bees or whatever. Then we have a luncheon, and sometimes provided, and sometimes we have to bring sandwiches, but it's just a great group of people of all ages that love the garden.
Yeah. And what is it about the garden that is, I'm sort of speaking to the choir, but that is so magical? Is it digging in the dirt? And I mean, there's all this research around it now that it really keeps us young. But do you feel that when you are, I know you work yourself, pursue really hard.
If you go outside, it's just like you're outdoor gardening, and it's just the before and after.
Yeah.
And sometimes you go see it, and you go from putting sod down, and then you see that before and after picture.
Yeah.
And then you go by it and say, well, I did that house 20 years ago, and
look at it now.
And look at it now.
Yeah.
And I remember I did a job when I was working for Montgomery County for a summer, and I did these steps, and somewhere in the neighborhood, and I went by there. They're a little crumbly, but it's like over 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And they're still there.
Yeah, that's a great feeling that you're actually changing the landscape for better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else that you want to share?
Well, I think that somehow all my children have inherited the love for the garden.
Isn't that funny?
which is we are on a tour right now visiting everybody, and it's just fascinating to see their houses and their gardens and maybe what they took with them from growing up at home.
Well, I have a memory I would like to share. I have a memory, and it might have been just the chaos that was in our house with 5 kids, but I have a memory of you and Dad giving us, do you remember this, Chris?
What?
Giving us a piece of a garden. They said, okay, you can pick a space, and that and that would be your space. And I remember the space that I chose was on the completely other side of the house, away from everybody, and it was all in the shade. And I just sat there, and I would have my pretend class, these imaginary friends that I'd spend hours and hours in this garden. I feel like that is you, whether you know it or not, but I think that gave an opportunity to, like, you have this experience with Ma, and I mean, what an experience. And I feel like just you giving us a garden, you're probably trying to get rid of us, but did you have that experience?
Yeah. If you go, when I was up in Vermont, look at Kimberly's garden. It's very, fenced in with her vegetables, Kevin, and look at Louise's garden. And it's like almost everybody, and Bobby's get into it slowly but surely. I think everybody has like a green thumb.
Yeah.
And
you remember a garden
I think Bobby's going to find his, actually.
well, I mean,
do you remember
he built a shed. He goes on YouTube, and one time I went to visit him, and the only thing we did all weekend when I visited him was dethatch his yard and aerate it and put peat moss down and everything. That's all we did in his backyard. But you got to take care of it, and that's the fun part about it. Then you see 2 weeks later, see all of this nutrient and grass coming up.
Yeah. So do you remember a garden? Did you have a garden at our house?
Yeah, but I forgot where it was.
Where it was. Yeah. So long ago. Yeah. That's a vivid memory for me. So is there anything else you'd like to share with our community that really, the gardening, the landscaping, the just being outside, and how it has impacted your life, and how maybe we can...
Well, every Christmas I would go buy Christmas trees.
Oh, right. So we have a tradition.
So every year I buy these huge Christmas trees.
Not cut, though.
No, live.
They were live. That's the key to the story.
And so then you take them down, and we go and have wine and dedicate it to Grandma, Mom's mother, and so it was be these big ones, big balls, and with the wires.
Root balls, yeah.
Now I buy the smaller one.
Now you've run out of room.
The smaller ones with solar lights, and every night they blink.
Yeah, that's right. We've got a couple, 2 or 3 out there that blink every night.
Yeah. But isn't it just those small little things bring such incredible joy?
That's true.
It's nature. It's
And now I have these volunteer tomato plants.
Yeah.
Coming back every year. So it may change spots.
And that's a mystery of nature, and it's fun.
We don't know how they get there, whether it's birds or squirrels or trash.
But it's fun though. It's a like, oh, what's going to happen now?
And, exactly.
And keeping us posted.
And it's just like all your plants on your desk.
Yes. So I have a lot of plants around the house, inside as well, to keep that. It's supposed to also clean the air, so it's sort of nice. Is there anything else you'd like to share?
No, I just love what you're doing and talking to these people and giving everybody inspiration. That's very, very admirable. Thank you.
Thanks, Mom. Make me cry.
Yeah.
Anything you want to share, Chris?
Yeah, I think the whole family have a certain kind of a green thumb from Mom and Dad, and working in the garden and whatever it is, and from Louisa on up to you and Bobby and Kimberly and everyone else. And
now we have
Yeah,
grandchildren
grandchildren.
who have
their own place.
flower pots on their steps going into their apartment building.
I'm so glad you brought that up because I think it is important to say that you don't have to have a whole expansive yard
That's right.
to enjoy. And yes, your grandchildren, my nieces and nephews, they have little pots. They're in the city and they are
That's right.
just as enthusiastic as if they had a big plot of land.
That's right.
So I think that also, I think the message that I'm getting here in this episode is that family and how family can really nurture a love for gardening and how just being outside.
I have a jade plant that I was given donkeys years ago, and you could just break a little branch and stick it in some soil and it grows. And a lot of my grandchildren have them growing in their homes.
Well, Louise, I think that jade plant was from Ma.
Yeah.
And Louisa continued it, and she gave me a piece of hers.
Yeah.
So that's even through indoor plants,
Yeah.
how they can continue on through the generations.
That's right.
And it makes it a very intergenerational experience.
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful gift, I think, that you have given all of us to nurture. And I can only hope that my kids will carry on that as well. But I think it's interesting with Chris is that he had the opportunity to be with Ma, and that was a whole intergenerational experience, and her passing from you and Ma. So that's fascinating as well. So it's really
And also, she taught us casino.
Oh yes, we've been playing lots of casino while you all have been here. So this has been fantastic. I just want to thank you for coming on and sharing your stories. And is there, and again, anything else you want to?
I just want to thank you for what you're doing.
Oh, thanks. Chris, anything else you want to share?
Well, I was very impressed with your outdoor classroom, the boats and everything. And it's like, it doesn't have to be, gardening can be anything from a small apartment with a tree or two or a plant or two. Is that how you say it? Plants? And I don't think I had the greenest thumb, but I came home every day and there was Dad working in the garden, so then you really can't escape.
That's right. That's the flip side of it all. The darker side.
But if you kind of look at everybody has a green thumb in a certain kind of way, so
it takes something.
It takes something.
Yeah.
Everyone has it. Even Jim and Kevin and
the in-laws.
And all the in-laws.
Yeah.
And Diane, everybody. So.
All right. Well, thank you again for joining us. And we will thank you again for listening to our family episode. Talk to you soon. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Legacy of Bloom, Family Tales of Gardening. It's been a joy to share these precious stories of how our family's love for gardening has been nurtured and passed down through the generations. A heartfelt thank you to my 91-year-old mother, Judith Hackett, for her enduring passion and wisdom, and my brother, Christopher Hackett, for his professional insights as a landscaper. And a special shout out to the younger generation for continuing our family's gardening legacy in their own unique ways. We hope these stories have inspired you to appreciate your own family's tradition and perhaps to cultivate a garden of your own. Remember, the essence of our passions often take root at home and can flourish into something extraordinary, like a business. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Don't forget to share it with your friends and family who might find these tales as inspiring as you did. Until next time, keep your hands in the soil and your heart in the garden. Happy gardening.